Welcome in to the latest episode of the Betting Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, the real underscore G Warner. On tonight's episode, we're doing a midweek across a lot of cup competitions. Plus, we have the FA Cup this weekend, so we're going through a regular slate of English Premier League matches. We did miss Tuesday, the 10th of February, but we will get the rest and get you through. Get an ultimate best bet coming end of show. We do have some matches on Thursday, but since most of this will come out on Wednesday, probably shooting for a best bet for Wednesday's action. We are 18, 13, and 258% so far year to date in matches I've watched. I'm trying my best this year to do a reduction of recency bias by not. I'm literally watching every match the whole way. I'm behind, but I think that's like a better way than overreacting to matches each weekend. We'll see, and we'll figure out how that looks end of season. Since this is the Betting Pitch podcast, we start where the money is. If you're a member of the Patreon subscribers group, patreon.com/real_G-Warner. Thanks for all the support over there. If you're not subscribed to the podcast and have a podcast or on Spotify, please leave a 5-star review. It's huge for the search rankings. Also, subscribe to YouTube. I have a ton of more viewers on there. I appreciate that. 247 subscribers now, and I really appreciate that. But let's start in the English Premier League because that's where the money is. Most of the money is anyway. Hopefully everyone has settled or found their way in so far. And we'll start in the early matchup, or I guess everything's early, at 1:30 Central, 2:30 Eastern time. That's Manchester City hosting Fulham. So Man City on the road at Liverpool this weekend. Brutal setup to then have to then play a home matchup with Fulham. We've been playing a lot better lately. There's a lot of speculation right now about Marcus Silva and his future, whether he's staying at Fulham. I would guess he probably won't be because I feel like most people that enter a contract year and don't have anything signed, they usually leave and go somewhere else. Fulham have gotten important pieces like Anthony Robinson back, Jedi as he's called, in the U.S. men's national team. Definitely British, but somehow qualifies for the U.S. And this is going to be the big question because Manchester City are big favorites. They've kind of gotten their swagger back, if you will, and we're going to have to see what happens and kind of what game plan Fulham uses. I don't know that they're necessarily the strongest defensive club out there. They're going to try to go win this game, I think, and that's probably the best way to play against Man City rather than just sitting in your own box the whole time. It's just hard to know if that's actually going to work very well. Currently, Fulham, a 1.5 goal underdog with all the juice right now at Bet Online, 16-cent numbers on the English Premier League. So if you're interested for trying to find a new book or just trying to save some money because juice is so important in this sport, please hit me up at the real underscore G Warner across any social media platform, and I'll get you a referral code and get you on BetOnline or sportsbetting.ag, sister sites, same lines, and they do have some good bonus programs, especially for a first-time sign-up. Total in this one is 3, just very heavily to over, and that reflects, I think, two teams are going to go for it. Sometimes that means that there's the line of confrontation is actually not all in the Fulham box the whole time, which I think is what Fulham will want. Manchester City want to control this game, want to put their best foot forward, and they're trying to chase, I guess, Champions League play, of course, but also an English Premier League title. They've been out of that kind of discussion for a little while. Maybe some missed opportunities so far this season, all those sorts of things limiting what they're potentially going to do. I think Fulham plus 1.5 is my biggest interest. It's a big number. It's exactly what I made it. It's pretty juicy at the moment, too. So I think I want to see some Manchester City money come in and see if that changes before kickoff. Same time, 1:30 Central Time, we've Aston Villa, half a goal favorites at home to Brighton. All the juice on Brighton right now, and they've been getting bet a lot this week, which surprised me a little bit, but here we are. Anyway, it shouldn't surprise me because they've been backed a lot this season. Total is down from 2.75 to 2.5, though it's currently climbing to plus 104 right now. So the odds are that this is going to come back to 2.75. Aston Villa have been awesome since a really slow start to the Premier League season. Really, once Europe started, they started to kill it. Brighton have scored a ton more goals than I think they've expected or anyone expected them to score. I don't know that I trust Fabian Osula, the manager, came over from St. Pauli, taking them up from the Schweizer League, the second division in Germany, to the top flight. I don't know, really. I'm just not really a believer in Brighton. I feel like they've gotten a lot of fortunate Danny Welbeck and his aged body's goals, and I don't really see that continuing a lot this season. I think going into Villa is going to be really, really difficult. Aston Villa playing for Champions League, of course, and Europa League in this season's campaign. I just wonder like what's potentially going to happen here. Why Brighton are so getting so much respect. I do certainly take pause and think about that because usually people bet favorites in sports, so it's always kind of news to me if we see an underpriced underdog, especially one that continues to get bet this week. The more that it falls, the more interested I'm in Aston Villa. Longtime Patriot subscriber Joseph Dollar, he wants me to certainly jump on the favorite here. It's not my style, but if it fell away to pick them, which is not going to, that would be incredible, and I probably would be on Villa. But I think for now, under 2.5 is my biggest interest. Would be waiting for 2 3/4. Would love to get a three. But I don't really trust the Brighton offense. I think they're going to go on the road and try to keep this as low scoring as possible because I don't think they can score with Aston Villa, even if they have so far this season. Move next to the same window. Nottingham Forest, a 3/4 goal favorite at home to Wolves. More juice on the Nottingham Forest side right now. Excuse me, the juice on the side has been Nottingham Forest getting bet at home a little bit. Wolves, one of the worst teams in the English Premier League history, so that shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Total's 2.5, just more to the under pretty heavily right now. I don't see goals being scored in this matchup. Wolves, the big issue for them is are they so adrift that they're just not going to defend anymore and they're going to go do their own thing. Their manager knows he's probably not coming back because he wants a Premier League job. Wolves players are getting relegated and probably going to other places as well based on their contracts. So all those sort of things are things to think about. Still, to me, the most conservative manager in English Premier League right now, coaches for Nottingham Forest. So that makes me pretty interested in that under. The Wolves' defense is going to have to travel, and that's a big concern for me. Move next, Crystal Palace hosting Burnley. Currently, Palace a 1 goal favorite to a newly promoted side. Juice is split both ways, minus 108. That shows you the 16 cents juice, which is pretty important. Total in this one's 2.5, and it's just slightly more to under by about 4 cents worth, minus 110 versus minus 106. Burnley have not shown they can score goals all season. That worries me because I want teams to go on the road and play competitive matches, and if they fall behind by a big margin, then that's unfortunately where unders go to die. Crystal Palace on the other side, though, they've got Mateta hurt. They've sold pretty much all their talented players in the last couple seasons. Elise is at Bayern and Munich. We just saw Eze leave for Arsenal. We saw Mark Gahey leave for Manchester City in January. So like it's been pretty bad. Burnley don't score much. Crystal Palace, I still think that they're a defensive manager at heart with Oliver Glasner. We'll see if he ends up taking the Manchester United job, though it's certainly a downturn in form, which is not really his fault because they've played multiple competitions playing in Europe and in England, and they've sold all their best talent. But I think that's a problem. It's going to hurt Crystal Palace. I think Burnley go and play competitively on the road. I don't know that I like the +1 enough, though it's bigger than I made it. I think under 2.5 is my biggest interest in that matchup. To the last one on Wednesday, and I will cover the Thursday match before we get off the English portion of the show. We have Sunderland, at 2:15 Central, 3:15 Eastern time start. Sunderland 3/4 goal underdogs at home to Liverpool. Almost saw the juice on the Black Cats. Total in this one is, as I lost my spot. Total in this one is 2.5. Juice very heavily to over at the moment. That's been that way for most of this time. Actually, we've been seeing some money come in and eat some of that plus money up on Sunderland. I mean, they've been awesome so far this season. Have been a great money maker for me and all the Patreon subscribers and those of you that have been following the Bet and Pitch podcast so far this season. Thank you for that support. All the likes, subscribes, views, impressions, all that sort of stuff has been awesome. And a big change, a big growth this season. But Sunderland's got a big problem, and I don't think Granit Xhaka is going to play in this matchup. And he not only is the heart and soul of the team, but I think plays a really important role of defending and keeping people out of the middle of the pitch. Liverpool have improved after a really bad start, but I'm still not a believer, and I've been betting against them a lot this season just because I'm not really a believer in what won the Premier League last season. It was pretty much they won it because no one else could. Felt really fortunate a lot of the time, and it's certainly the chickens have come home to roost this season. Sunderland's my interest. Want to get a full goal of insurance. I don't think we will, but I am pretty interested in under and an underdog at home, especially since that's the way the home dog wants to play. Liverpool certainly are trying to defend and have defended more this season, despite bringing in some really attacking players. I think that's why they had to, because they know they've had to defend because they don't have enough defenders on the pitch. I just don't think Liverpool will go on the road and dominate this game. I'll be waiting to see this climb to 2 3/4. I like that number better, but lean to under and lean to the home underdog. As for Thursday, last match we'll get to on this English portion of the show, we have Brentford 3/4 goal underdogs at home to Arsenal. Juice is split at the minus 108s right there. Total in this one is 2.5, and it's juice slightly more to over. No real movement on this side or total so far, but makes sense because it's furthest away. But Brentford have been great at home so far this season. I'll be waiting to see if a +1 shows up. Arsenal dictate games. They don't let anybody score. This is a big test for that because Brentford certainly have scored a lot of goals this season. Have done very well against the top of the table, and that's why they've done a really great job of hanging around the Champions League discussion for next season. Long way to go, of course. But Arsenal's got, a big lead. We've seen them kind of struggle to hold on and consolidate to other teams making mistakes. So we'll see what happens in this matchup. I'll be waiting for Brentford to hit +1, and under 2.5 is my interest right now, though I certainly would like a little bit more. As for the ultimate best bet nominee for this portion of the show in the English Premier League, I'm going to go with that Crystal Palace Burnley under 2.5 goals. I think that's by far my favorite. Just don't see a lot of goals in that matchup. We'll now move to the Copa del Rey in Spain, as I really hope I'm not getting sick again because I feel like I've been sick for a month, and here we are back to square one. But we'll start in the Spanish Copa del Rey semifinals. These are two-legged matches. So you play first leg at one home venue, then a second leg at the next. A couple weeks from now, I believe, maybe even longer than that. It was a big gap last season. But we'll start with Athletic Club Bilbao, and they are hosting Real Sociedad, which I'm wearing a shirt of. If you're watching Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, you hit that like button. 5-star reviews are very, very important. Athletic Club at home, quarter goal favorites right now, and the juice is split both ways. -110 on the Spanish Copa del Rey, which you'll see on most of the Bet Online service. Unfortunately, not just the Premier League has the cheap prices, but total in this one is, as I just lost it, is, how did I lose that again? 2.25, and it's juiced pretty heavily to under at the moment. 8 cents difference. I guess that's not that heavily, but what I see in most two-legged competitions, you see in Champions League, Europa League, Europa Conference League, and of course in the cup competitions, is the first leg is usually it's really cautious because you don't want to end up losing, getting knocked out in the first leg. You don't get knocked out, of course, but you don't want to have a huge deficit. I think that means that Real Sociedad are probably on the road accepting a 1-0 defeat, though they certainly want to get a result. Draw is probably a very, very good, happy thing for them so they can go and win at home and then advance to the Copa del Rey final, which is a big deal, especially for Real Sociedad not playing in Europe this season for the first time in a long time. Atletico on their side, they've been playing Champions League, return there. That's zapped their team of energy, hurt a lot of players. They haven't really had a full lineup until this past weekend, and we'll see if that ends up continuing or if they continue to lose the Williams brothers, because I feel like Iñaki Williams had one of the longest playing streaks of all players, and he's been hurt a lot this season. Nico Williams is probably going to Barcelona at some point, and that's been potentially messing with his motivation or just having a child or who the heck knows. But ultimately, Athletic Club have been horrible in the league after a really great start to the season. As soon as Champions League came on, they've been bad. And they're playing their biggest rival, Basque Derby, San Sebastian, Real Sociedad coming over to Bilbao. And it's going to be a great matchup, great event. Love that they're playing twice if they just played a couple weeks ago. And I think we see a low-scoring game. Real Sociedad have not really scored a ton of goals this season and then switched managers. And it seems like Pellegrino Matarazzo has done a great job because the market in Spain has really liked him. They were favored on the road at Alaves, not a huge surprise a couple of weeks ago in the previous round of the Copa del Rey, but certainly in La Liga as well. There's been a lot of respect for them. And quarter goal underdog is basically saying these two teams are equal, which is a little bit tough considering they're going to have to fight a really big crowd. And this is not the most violent of derbies, but certainly there's going to be a lot of Athletic Club fans there, and they're going to be chanting pretty loud at San Mamés. I think for me, I like the road underdog, but I think under 2.25 is my biggest interest. As for the two advanced numbers, this should adjust based on the first leg, but currently Athletic Club are even money, +100 at Bet Online. Real Sociedad -120, a lot, I think, because leg two is going to be in San Sebastian at their home stadium, but it does mean something that they're favored on the road, especially when the first leg can certainly decide things. To Thursday, we have Atletico Madrid, and they are hosting Barcelona in the first of two legs. Currently, Atleti a quarter goal underdog at home with more juice on the Barcelona side. Surprise, surprise. So it's 3.25 in this one, juice more to the over, and that certainly reflects Barcelona playing in any match. I don't know how you can trust their defense, their high line, to stop goals from being scored. From my perspective, I think Barca is fine with a draw away from home, and they have to win this match to cover the spread. So the quarter goal on Atletico Madrid looks very, very interesting to me. I don't know that I want to do much with the total because Barcelona matches can have 8 goals in them. We've seen that plenty of times before, sometimes more. But Atleti, I think, are a fairly live dog in the first leg, which then correlates a little bit to playing them to advance if they get off to a good start and but they probably need to win at home, so that's a big question. But Atleti +235 to advance, -287 on the Barcelona side. Probably not enough for me there, but I do like Atleti in that first leg. As for the ultimate best bet portion of the show, the nominee from the Spanish Copa del Rey, I will go with under 2.25 Real Sociedad visiting Athletic Club. We'll now move to one of the remaining Coppa Italia matches in Italy. As soon as I can pull it up, of course. And we'll start with Bologna, and I guess we'll end with it too. Bologna and Lazio. We do have a DFB Pokal match in Germany as well to discuss before we hang up, so don't leave just yet. But currently, Bologna quarter goal favorites right now to Lazio. Total in this one is a ripe 2 goals. Very juiced to over at the moment. Let me see how that's moved. No movement so far on the total. As for the side, we've seen uh, pretty much money coming in on Bologna, making them a bigger favorite. And I'll be waiting for Lazio to climb to a half a goal underdog. They were on a transfer ban coming into the season. Not much respect for them in the Serie A Italy marketplace to really do much. And they haven't played Europe, so they didn't have a lot of money to do anything. And that's part of where the transfer ban came in. But in January, that was lifted. They were able to do some signing, and that's important. They have lost some players, unfortunately, but they've gained some too. And Bologna, the trouble for Bologna is they've played, and victims of their own success, have played in Europa League this season, done very well in that competition. But we're in the Italian Supercoppa Italiana in Saudi Arabia, played all the way to the final there, and then had a ton of matches to make up, and really have just been gassed, it seemed to me. I want to look at that Bologna back line and see how healthy it is. If Lukumi's starting next to Hejim, that's probably the best. If Vitek's starting, he's certainly someone that has problems at defending, I think, at this point. And Lazio, to me, are forever under Maurizio Sarri, a good dog to look at. Total's lower than I made it. I'll be waiting to see if this climbs to 2.25. But I do like the side here on Lazio. The quarter of a goal, certainly waiting for a half. As for the two advanced number, Bologna minus 177. This is a single leg, so there's only one competition or one leg competition, and so that means whoever got the home advantage it's a big deal here. Plus 155 coming back on Lazio. So if you like Lazio, I mean, there's some money there. Unfortunately, if they're going to penalties, I've not had much luck with underdogs on the road, at home, anywhere in penalties. So I almost want to stay far away from this one. But Bologna have certainly been pretty weary lately, and I do wonder how that impacts this matchup. I also think in the first leg, like I said, in the first leg of a two-legged competition, you see a lot of conservative stuff there. I think in this setup as well in Coppa Italia, we see a pretty low-scoring matchup here. So lean to under. It's lower than I made it. Lean to the side of Lazio, but it's also lower than I made it. So my ultimate best bet, here we go again, is an under, and that is under 2. Bologna at hosting Lazio, and we'll see if this number moves to 2.25 before kickoff. Last but not least, we'll go to Germany DFB Pokal, the Copa, I guess the cup competition in Germany. We have Bayern München, a 1.75 goal favorite with almost all the juice at home to RB Leipzig. Total in this one is 4, and the juice is split both ways. So Leipzig want to score. Bayern München score more goals than anybody. Have been dominating in Germany so far this season. I think beat Leipzig 6-0 in their opener of the season. So they've had some good success. Vincent Kompany has made it very clear they want to win the DFB Pokal. I expect a really strong lineup, which anything Bayern München puts out there will be strong. I think the question is, what does Leipzig put out there? I don't think we want a weekend lineup, even though that might get us a push on 2. I think we'll probably get that anyway based on anyone who wants to win money just bets Bayern München and then goes to sleep or something like that. Leipzig have been really, really good and it surprised me so far this season, but they're not playing Europe, which helps. But they've rebuilt, and this is a big, big step up for them, especially going to München for this matchup. In terms of the two advanced number, Bayern minus 800, so 1-8 on. That's rough, or 8-1 on, I guess, 1-8 overall. So it's a 11% chance given to Leipzig based on that number, but then you get plus 43 coming back on Leipzig. So that's where the big splits in, unfortunately, the handle, and that's a big deal and something I would like to change, but good luck with that, especially as BetOnline is one of the best out there for not raping you on everything that happens. But I think I'd be very curious to see Leipzig compete here. It's a big, big spread. But until I get 2, I don't think I'm playing it. And I think we will get it, and even then, I'm not going to be that excited. So for my nominee for the ultimate best bet portion show, I'll go RB Leipzig 1.75 goal underdogs on the road at Bayern, and we'll see where this number moves before kickoff at 1:45 Central, 2:45 Eastern time. So a lot of matinee stuff out there. If you're looking for some action while you're at work, maybe not at work, who knows? But if you're out of work, I understand it's been a long ride for a lot of my friends. So I hope you enjoy yourself and don't get too down on yourself because that's what life is about. Moving on through the one hurdle to the next. And that does it for this episode. I'm going to get to the ultimate best bet coming up. Thank you for the support of the Need for Seeds College Basketball Podcast, returning the Betting Pitch Podcast Network with Big East Ben. That's been doing great. Had a great season in the NFL as well. Probably didn't win as much money as I'd like to, but closed out with a sweat, apparently, on the under in the Super Bowl. No business going anywhere close to an over, but thankfully for a clear holding call, I think, with K9 scoring a long touchdown, Kenneth Walker getting called back. That was important. But I gotta say, it was quite the run this NFL season. We'll be back with Andrew Schnicker next year on the Betting Pitch NFL podcast. Soccer stuff still coming out, of course. We'll have an episode for this weekend, likely recorded Thursday night. I'm trying to stick to that schedule, and we'll do Friday with college basketball with Big East Ben, trying to get some best bet winners out there out the door. Now it's time for the ultimate best bet portion of the show. Nothing else to plug, maybe besides the new What I Bet episode coming out covering the next day's action on pregame.com's podcast network, the Trade Out of Vegas pod. Feel free to check that out. But from the English Premier League, I like Burnley under 2.5 goals in Copa del Rey in Spain. I like Real Sociedad as I wear their shirt and their logo, their crest, if you will. Under 2.25 goals on the road at Athletic Club Bilbao in the Coppa Italia. I like Lazio under 2 goals, waiting for 2.25 there. And the DFB Pokal, RB Leipzig, 1.75 is my only real interest. Would love to get 2, and we'll be waiting for that. Still might not be enough. But for the ultimate best bet on this episode, 18, 13, and 2, 58% so far of what I've caught up on. Let's go Burnley, 2.25 goals. Excuse me, 2.5 goals. Under 2.5 goals. Burnley visiting Crystal Palace. Just not really a believer in Crystal Palace's offense. They've sold too much talent. I think we see a low-scoring match in a midweek. Hopefully dogfight. And that'll do it for this episode. Stay tuned for the reel that I'll cut tomorrow for Burnley, and talk to y'all soon down the line.